All right, today we are diving into this really fascinating, kind of strange parable from a text called The Sovereignty of the Absolute Self. It's a wild story about power, about identity, and a clash of ideas that honestly might just make you question what you think makes you, well, you.
So the whole story really kicks off with this one central puzzle. What in the world does this even mean? How can your sense of self, your I, get stronger by owning something that is specifically defined as not I? I mean, it sounds like a complete contradiction, right? But for the characters we're about to meet, this was the absolute bedrock of their reality.
And here it is, the core conflict laid out bare. On one side, you've got the Vikings. For them, power, real sovereignty, is something you can hold. It's the ability to claim the gold, to possess the thing. But on the other side, you've got the jester, and he sees things, well, completely differently. For him, true power is the wisdom, the intuition, to see that the gold itself is just an illusion, a projection of something else entirely.
So let's really set the scene here. We're at a great Viking assembly, what they called the Thing. Just picture it, a circle of stones, packed with these tough warriors. But they're not planning a raid or talking strategy. Nope. They are bitterly arguing, shouting at each other over one single, gleaming golden arm ring. Every single one of them believes that possessing this one object will define him, solidify his status, his very being.
Now, watching all of this is a mysterious observer, the jester. And he doesn't see powerful warriors. He sees what he calls divisible eyes. It's this idea of a limited self, an identity that isn't whole or self-sufficient. Instead, it's defined by external stuff, like that golden ring, which means it's constantly trapped in the struggle to get and keep those things. And right into this circle of angry, arguing men steps our mystery man, the Groom Nar, the Chester. The text says he has a bipartite form, like he's split between two natures. The moment he enters, all the shouting just stops. Dead silence, just confusion. You have to understand, this isn't just a guy walking into a meeting. It's a completely alien idea crashing into a closed system.
And the jester, he does not waste any time. He immediately throws down this incredible challenge. He tells them flat out, that ring you're fighting over, the very thing you think gives you existence and power, it's actually the source of your weakness. It doesn't make you more, it makes you less. It limits you.
This brings us to this absolutely crucial concept of the not I. It's anything at all, outside of yourself that you use to build your identity. For these Vikings, that golden ring is the perfect not I. They can point to it and say, because I have this, I am powerful, I am important. Their whole sense of I completely depends on this external not I.
So, as you can probably imagine, this radical idea does not go over well. The established order, represented by a traditional law speaker, stands up to confront this disruptive jester. What we're about to witness isn't just an argument between two guys. It is a fundamental clash between two completely different ways of seeing the entire world.
The law speaker, he makes a really passionate defense of his worldview. For him, identity, society, all of it is built on things you can touch, things that are real, laws, oaths, and powerful symbols like the gold. He says these are the anchors that give life meaning and structure. Without them, he argues, a person's identity is just nothing. It's chaos.
But the jester? He just laughs. He hears the law speaker's synthesis, this whole reality built on laws and objects, and he calls it a cage, not an anchor. He's basically saying that by depending on all these external not I's, they've actually trapped their own spirits. They've become mere fragments of themselves, not whole beings at all.
This chart just lays it all out so clearly. You have two totally different philosophies. For the law speaker, his will comes from the outside in, from tradition, from the law of the fathers. He sees objects as anchors, which creates a fixed reality that, also happens to be a cage. The jester's path, his will comes from inside himself. He sees those same objects as just projections, which leads to a reality that might seem chaotic, but one that offers absolute, total freedom.
But you know, words are often not enough to break someone's entire worldview. The jester knows he needs to do more. He has to demonstrate his point in a way these men of action will understand. So he gets ready to shatter not just their arguments, but the very symbol of their desire.
And then, in this sudden dramatic moment, the jester shakes his rattle. The text says a kind of magic, the runes of destruction, ripples through the air, and right there in the law speaker's hand, that brilliant golden ring, the thing they were all fighting over, it just tarnishes, weeps, and turns into a worthless, dull, leaden-gray piece of junk.
This demonstration is just a powerful physical metaphor for his whole point. He shouts, "Behold the deconstruction of your desire." And his point is just devastatingly simple. If you build who you are on something external, something you own, then your identity is just as fragile as that thing. When it breaks, you break right along with it.
So, okay, if the Viking way is just a cage, what's the alternative? The Jester offers them a completely different kind of power, a different kind of sovereignty. One that doesn't need a golden ring, or an army, or even a throne. It requires something else entirely. He calls this the absolute itch, or the absolute self, and this is the ultimate goal. It's an identity that isn't defined by anything external. It doesn't need your approval, it doesn't need validation, it simply is. It is the power, as the text puts it, to be the activity itself. You're the dance that continues even if the entire stage burns down around you.
And this is his final, absolutely mind-bending piece of wisdom. The ultimate power, the ultimate sovereignty, is to realize that all the struggles, the objects, the laws, the entire external world you're fighting so hard against is just a story you are telling yourself. And true freedom comes when you can just laugh at it all. And with that, he turns his back on the stunned assembly and just walks away.
So the parable leaves us with this really provocative thought, doesn't it? It kind of turns the question back on us. What are the golden rings in our own lives? You know, the job titles, the possessions, the beliefs we cling to that we think define our I? What throne are we so desperately defending? And maybe more importantly, would any of us have the courage to just laugh, let it all go, and be a fool?